Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a phenomenal day. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas Eve, that whole thing. I wanted to get it out there early because obviously I won't be making any content tomorrow. Hope you are able to spend some time, quality time, with your family and friends. The whole 9 yards there. Deeply appreciate you just being amazing parts of my life. We're going to start off with some quick congrats and kudos to our community here. Pepe Long, 34%. Dog Whiff Hat, 34%. Bitcoin 36%. Now those are trades we took yesterday and Sunday. Okay, so again, good stuff there. If you're part of my community, you'll know why we took those trades. Even though some of them were a little early / higher risk trades, altcoins were starting to stabilize, establish higher highs and higher lows, while Bitcoin was making lower highs and lower lows. It made a very, very perfect situation as Bitcoin dominance started to pull back to consider taking longs, right? So that's kind of the reason, the premise there. What I want to look at here for AVAX, because it's been a couple days since we last looked, is just some new liquidation levels and kind of see roughly where we're at. I think this has probably changed since we last looked because there's some heavy liquidation just above the $42 range, or in the $42 range if I recall correctly, because again we're in this resistance level. So we got to presume we're going to see some slowing down for the moment and just kind of maybe starting to pick back up here soon. But for the moment, it makes perfect sense why we're rejecting there. If we look at here, there it is, 42.50 was that area. We got some late shorts here between $43 and $42. So that's kind of a heavier local concentration there. If we do take a look at bigger picture, obviously we got a lot to the upside. We don't need to worry about the $50 range right now. We do need to know, though, that $50 should be a resistance level. That's just kind of commonplace. Most key level round numbers are. Just like $40 recently worked as a support. Big surprise, right? Take a look here. Delta liquidation, we can see pretty solid amount of longs in the market right now for AVAX. So this pretty much just implies you're better off taking longs versus taking a short. While I don't recommend longing the top of our initial short-term resistance range, I do recommend waiting for a better long versus taking a short to that next level. Okay, I'm always going to do that because, again, it's just best practice and just the right thing to recommend. Safe trading. Okay, you're never going to find me saying to take a high risk, high leverage, long position in the face of danger. It makes no sense. Or in this case, a high leverage short is just completely foolhardy. While I recognize we're in a resistance range, we're probably going to capitulate and pull back. It makes again, the trend right now is up. Don't go against that. All right, so let's talk about trend reversal and how that's going to work out. Really quick though, just a note. Open interest. We see the local areas of interest here. Got some late longs at $39.50. Previous, of course, at $42.50. $43. That's where that resistance range is at. But more importantly, we got a lot of folks heavy between 38 and 40. And that's good. It's really good. All right, now let's talk about daily time frame, work our way down. On the smaller time frames, I'll talk about trend reversals and what to look for. While this is not a perfect or a clean setup by any stretch, there's some contributing factors we want to be mindful of. When we take a look here, though, this resistance range, we know that $42 is that resistance top. I would actually more so say 43 just based on liquidation, but it's more likely to see 43 if we breach 42. So it's just kind of one of those things that'll continue to run. So those of you who have liquidation events at $42, what are you doing? Don't stop. Just stop it. If you stop using high leverage at those levels, we're probably going to see a lot less manipulation in the market. You're part of the problem and the solution. Again, the solution for the market makers, because they make a ton of money off you, but you're also going to find much more favorability if you do that less, just in your own personal well-being. When we take a look here, $50 is that resistance range for the RSI. Until we're above that, I don't really think we should be super excited about this trend reversal. While we're starting to see a trend reversal, it hasn't officially occurred yet from a macro perspective, and that's important to recognize. We're below the 20 and the 50-day SMA for the moment. Until we get above that, there's no real reason to consider a long. We can see here under 50, stochastic swinging up and MACD trying to converge. Those are early signs letting us know the shift in momentum is happening, but it hasn't fully occurred yet, right? It's present tense, not past tense. So in that case, we don't really trade into scenarios like that. We like to confirm that the trend is past tense. In other words, it's happening. It's not a hypothetical, right? Either way, when we look at this here, there's a pretty obvious cup and handle pattern forming. Tons of coins are cup and handling right now, where they're likely to pull back. Like Bitcoin, for example, 97.3 is that local point of control. There's a good chance we're going to see the price action pull back to that range here, the low 97K range. all the more reason to wait for a good long on an altcoin versus taking a long at the top right now, okay? And again, the trend, most of the trends are up, so you don't short into an ascending trend, right? We take a look at this here, even though we are moderately overextended, there's no reason to short into that. It just, I don't know, to me it doesn't make a sense. It depends on where you're at. Like if the whole entire market's bearish, then sure, we take a short into a resistance range. But this is the first time we're testing a resistance range after breaking a descending trend. Doesn't make a ton of sense. Speaking of trend, let's double check this here because you want to recognize the 20-day SMA, we're above that, right? That's kind of like the initial trend setter letting us know longs are viable again on smaller time frames and or shorter term trends, or more importantly, shorter term holds are more likely to find success. So hypothetically, you broke above 20 here, took a long, you should have secured profits somewhere in here before we hit resistance, right? Again, those are just things I teach in my trading academy. It's not exact science. For the most part, you're going to find success doing that. Until we break bullish on the macro, there's no reason to go long to the moon right now, okay? You should never do that anyways, that's just foolhardy, but again, you don't take a long to 50 when we just barely break above a small term trend line. Anyways, we're under the 50-day SMA, that's a resistance range, so to speak. While we're over 50 in the RSI, which is very favorable, a lot of coins are exuding this behavior, we have other factors that are kind of letting us know that we're not totally out of the woods yet. So again, closing above, I think 42 would be a very solid confirming factor for us instead of taking a long into a breakout trade that may never happen, okay? Try not to be a breakout trader. I know it's really easy to want to do that right now because you got this like, yeah, Bitcoin's back. While it is, it's still due to capitulate and pull back a little bit further, and most alts will do the same thing with it. But keep in mind, altcoins are looking pretty strong. Bitcoin dominance is pulling back, essentially topping out there at 58%. There's a good chance we're going to see altcoins continue to rally if we can if Bitcoin dominance continues to digress, all right? Either way, mostly confirming factors here letting us know from a momentum standpoint and a resistance standpoint we're back on track, but there's still some hesitation here. I don't love being in this resistance range. I'm going to consider taking a long. I'm going to take a long at a local high, which is this guy here. Let me go ahead and identify that for you. You can kind of see when the price action rallied here first, comes up like this, gets a nice little handle there, so to speak, or basically a retest that resistance. So that is a strong likelihood of retracement. If I'm not mistaken, I think ICP has a very similar scenario here, where you can see the price action likely to pull back to its local high. And now it's not a guarantee, but I'm more inclined to want to take a long at the 1090, 1085 range for ICP than I would right now because I feel like it's kind of late to the party. Again, dollar cost averaging, averaging in your positions, different stories altogether. But the whole point of this is just letting you know that this should be a moderate support level for us, and it's common for those areas to be retested. It's not a guarantee, of course. It could go up from here and not look back, but at this point, that's just something to look for, okay? So again, not exact science. But we combine that with the Ichimoku Cloud, we can confirm that we have all green lights here to consider a long versus a short, and that a short trade is very irresponsible, and that taking longs in general are probably the better way to go. Now, does this imply you just take a long at the top right here into a key level resistance? No, that's what breakout traders do, and they're typically wrong in most cases. They'll be right sometimes, they'll probably boast about it, they'll probably show incomplete trades online showing you how awesome their trade was when they took a very high risk trade with high leverage, okay? Again, if that's what you want for yourself, that's what gives you validation at the end of the day, you're probably in the wrong place. I'm never going to promote that. But what I do recommend is always best practice, and in this case here, the trend has shifted. While it's not fully bullish on the macro, we are fairly well bullish on the micro, and that implies that shorting into this smaller term reversal is a very bad idea, because it may never happen. In other words, you set a little take profit target down here at 39.70. Why not take a long there instead if that even happens? You're better off waiting for a position that never occurs than trying to take a high risk trade into something that is has a lot of resistance, right? So anyways, just some food for thought there. I always like to help educate and best practice in situations like this because folks, there's so much FOMO going on in the market with things like this happen. And when people are off for the holidays, they make some pretty terrible mistakes, and it sucks to take some bad trades going into a holiday, right? So I'll post an updated playout chart here on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. At this point, I'm inclined to say that AVAX is more likely to go up than down, but it probably won't go up right now immediately. A small term pullback would make a lot more sense, okay? And then if so, consider averaging into a position. You can get some skin in the game now if you want. Just have a second, maybe a tertiary target as the price continues lower, if this is something you want to do. All right, cool. Anyways, that's kind of where we're at there. Once more, updated charts here in our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. You also want to recognize too as well that we have a deposit bonus this month for Bitunix. Use my link to register, you're automatically eligible. But I would recommend using my link just so you can have the option for future reference to always benefit from their I don't know, they have tons of awards or rewards. Last month we had a $60,000 deposit bonus, or sorry, it was a prize pool collective across 60 different traders. So it was pretty cool. This month deposit bonus. Anyways, check it out. I just like to make sure you're well informed. These guys are awesome. I think you're gonna love them if you consider trying them out. I do hope you have a good rest of your day though. Regardless, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I love it. And I love you. So I appreciate all the support and awesome feedback from my ICB community and then some. Hope you all have a good one. We'll see you in the next one. Take good care of yourself. Bye-bye.